This month's Unsafe Building Commission meeting, Richmond, Indiana, for Tuesday, October the 15th, 2024. Can we have the roll call, please?
Dwayne Heater,
Here.
Diane Whitehead,
Here.
Rhonda Dooning.
Here.
Do we have any changes or recommendations for the last month's minutes?
If there aren't any questions or concerns, I make a motion that we approve the minutes of September 17th, 2024.
A second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Ms. Vessels, do we have proof of publication?
And actually, before we do the proof of publication, I would note that the two that we're anticipating to table, we will go ahead and call when we get to those on the agenda to make sure there's nobody here, because we would want to let them know the date when those will be tabled to, and then we will announce that for the record, and then give them a chance to speak if they wanted to speak, just in case they can't come to the next meeting. But otherwise, we do have a proof of publication. This notice was published in advance, states the time, date, place, items that are on the agenda for today's public hearings. I would ask the commission to make a motion to accept the proof of publication.
I make a motion to accept the proof of publication. Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Anybody that plans to speak today on any of the properties, could you please stand so Assistant City Attorney Vessels can swear you in?
Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have no old business. First new business will be for the property at 810 North H Street.
Well, can we do 1026 North I first?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that one's first. Which one's second? You're going to mix them all up?
Since there's two, we'll do 218 North 20th.
Second. And then-
we'll do the North H1s last, since there's two of them.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, the first property we have up then is at 1026 North I Street. Code Enforcement Inspector Ritchie, it's a demo?
Yes. So as you can see, this house has missing windows on the front porch, on the south side of the property, back. Also missing windows here and overgrown vegetation on the west side of the property. There's no electric. You can see that the meter has been pulled. Some brush and tree limbs. I did go back by this property, and that stuff right there has been removed. You can see the back part of the house is in disrepair. It's got missing windows and doors there, and you can see where the back part of the house is kind of sinking in at the top by the roof. Away from the back side of the house. There's actually a hole in the back side of the house on the west side of the property. Missing windows right there, and then this window is actually bulging out that needs replaced, and there's overgrown vegetation or tree that needs trimmed right there. So, but there is Mr. Kidd Mr. Victor Kidd is here to speak on this property. I can tell you that he has pulled a permit, and he is starting to work on this property, so he's here to speak on that.
Victor Kidd.
Thank you. You had some information?
Well, that don't look like it does in that picture.
Mhm.
We've boarded up the windows better, and all the weeds are mainly taken care of. And I'm gonna have somebody take off the back part of the house. And the reason why it hasn't been worked on, somebody stole my furnace out of it. So, but I can get it done.
The electrical's been pulled. That's a 2-year process, isn't it? So how long has this house been in disrepair?
I mean, they pulled it, I don't know when, you know,
What's your intent with the property?
fix it up, get it going.
As a rental?
Yes. I got somebody working on it now.
Okay.
So once I tear the back of it off, we should be good to go.
So just make sure you keep in contact with me, and let me know as you're doing the repairs, and then either email me a plan of action or write me a plan of action up, letting me know the process that you're going to do as far as, I'm going to tear off the back of the house this month, I'm going to put new windows in this month or whatever, so that we can keep in contact and just continue to work on the property.
Yeah, we're gonna tear the back of it off.
Okay.
That's what's gonna happen.
How long have you,
All it is storage. That's all it is storage.
oh, that's what you're using the property
That's
for?
what it was back in the day.
Yeah.
It was just storage. And we're just gonna tear that part off and fix up the back and do the roof up. So
Okay.
it'll be done.
All right, just make sure you get me a plan of action, okay?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
What's the recommendation?
Anybody, and you want to make sure if anybody else wants to speak on this property?
Okay.
I still want to go ahead and affirm the order, but I'm willing to work with him. Like I said, he has pulled the permit. He has gotten rid of the brush and big pieces of tree limbs, and taken care of some of the vegetation. But I just want to make sure that, the work doesn't stop, so.
How long have you been dealing with this property?
This property was an add-on to replace another property that, didn't get to go through with the blight program, so only a few months on this property.
Are you receiving any complaints from the neighbors? Or vagrants?
No, on this one, actually, no. I haven't had any issues with it. I don't know if Miss Lucinda likes this house,
Was there still,
since it's really close to her house.
right,
but-
right. But, do you have any questions?
No, but I think this lady,
Okay. Is there anybody
Did you
else
wanna
that wants to
speak?
speak to on the property? I don't
I
think,
swear you
you
in.
you weren't sworn in, so you'll have to get sworn in.
Yes. Please come to the podium if you're going to speak, yes. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that
What's your name, please?
my name's
Sorry, for the record.
Shonda Kidd,
Shonda?
SHONDA. I just wanted to just say that I'm going to work with Victor as well and make sure that you do receive your emails and updates and plan of action as we move forward on this house. So, so that you know that you'll be getting all the correspondence that you need.
That's great.
Okay, thank you. And was there anybody else that wants to speak on this property? Okay. Okay.
I just ask
any-
that you guys affirm the order, and I will.
It's continuous, so you keep working.
Okay, so just make a motion to adopt the statement?
So sorry, I'm sorry. You have anything else to say?
Well, I'll have to add it after the
Right,
motion is
right,
made.
absolutely. Okay, just wanted to make clear that there'll be a motion to affirm or reject, I forget what it's called, the order. If we affirm the order, that just means, and we'll affirm that it's a continuous enforcement order, so that just means that the demo is, the order is in force, but as long as you continue to work with Sherry, then everything's fine. It's just, we get some people, we have to have it in there that way, so that way if something would happen and you just stopped, then we don't have to come back and do this again. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, okay, that's fine. Okay, then I'll make a motion to adopt the statement of the enforcement authorized as the findings of the commission based on the evidence of the testimony, and to affirm that and submit the order, and for the order become a continuous on the enforcement order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried.
And so what, now I step in with the legal part. So that order is in effect. If you wanted to actually appeal that order, you have 10 days from today's date to appeal it to the Wayne County Circuit or Superior Courts. That's to appeal the order itself. If you do not appeal the order, the continuous enforcement order allows them up to 2 years to continue to monitor. So even though you guys will be working on it, and we'll have a plan in the next coming months to work with Sherry to get the work done, I did want to let you know that there is a 10-day appeal process for the order itself. So that is just clear and on the record that we let the respondents know about that legal timeline too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, then, the next property,
Time out.
yes.
They also have 908 that they wanted more time for. So can we tell them in November what day?
908.
908's the one that's
908
tabled,
North
right?
C. Yeah.
That will be tabled.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else here who's going to speak on 908 though? Anybody else?
Do you want to speak on 908, just to say that you're going to take over and work on that? Okay.
Well, wait.
So it's going to be tabled, but we usually ask to see if there's anybody who, like, is a neighbor or a contractor or anybody in the audience who wants to give or present evidence. We usually ask if they want to come forward and give any evidence in case we can't table it until it'd be either November 19th
Right.
or it would be December 17th. So I don't see anybody else looking like they want to stand up and present on 908. But yeah, if you want to table it until November 19th, we can do that. Not unless you want to.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Okay. So we'll just announce for the record that 908,
We're going to table 908.
But that we also let them know that the next hearing would be in November.
okay. And I'll get a notice sent out either way, but I don't, with nobody being here to speak in public hearing.
Okay, so do we
218.
want to address tabling 817 while we're talking about this?
Oh, you mean 908?
908 we just tabled.
Right,
and
okay.
You said we're going to table
Okay,
817.
yeah, we can do that also if you'd like.
Okay, so the property do we have anybody here to speak on the property at 817 North I Street? Okay, then we are going to table that till later. You'll let us know when it comes back up on the docket.
Okay,
So
thank
we'll
you.
table that one. Okay, then the next property we are going to address is at 218 North 20th Street. It is a demo.
Okay.
Inspector and Code Enforcement Inspector Rich.
Okay, this property is owned by Paul and Hope Sparks. I was asked to go to this property because this property had caught on fire and had to be boarded up. It is located probably with only maybe a block of Star School.
There's one house,
It's super
one or two
close, so, it was a hazard in case, children walking by were to go to this property. This has severe structural damage and fire damage. The property's not habitable. It had overgrown vegetation in the front and the rear of the property. Inspector Henry had previously had this boarded up. I had not seen any improvements that had been made, nor had the owners contacted me about this property. Like I had stated previously, the property is located within a few blocks from Star School, a community food bank, and the East Sides Lions Park. It has had several violations written up on it in the past, and it shows signs of lead-based paint. It hasn't had water since February 22nd, or electric since November 1st of 2023, and the house was built in 1900. Again, as you can see, there's fire damage there. There's some missing siding here, and this is just to show you that the garage in the back, there is also a garage that if we tore down the house, we would need to tear down the garage also, and some of the overgrown vegetation in the third picture. And the grass was a bit high in the front in the first picture as well. So, but I do believe that we have someone here to speak on that property at 218 North 20th.
Okay, do we have, yeah.
Good morning, members of the commission. My name is Ethan Griggs. I represent Freedom Mortgage Corporation, one of the lien holders in 218 North 20th Street. Hopefully I can shed a little insight as to my client's perspective on this property.
Okay.
First, my client's records show that Mr. Sparks is deceased.
Okay.
And that he passed away in the fire, which
Oh,
I believe
I didn't
the
know that.
records show was on December 22nd, 2023.
okay.
My client's records show that there hasn't been any substantial mortgage payment since November 25th, 2022.
Oh, wow.
And my clients have not been able to contact either the owners or the remaining living owner in quite some time.
Okay.
They had been in the foreclosure process since at least May 2022. That was finalized in July 2023, I believe. However, one thing that differs from the inspector's report is my client's records show that they have been paying for lawn care or maintenance of the vegetation throughout this summer of 2024 every few weeks. I've not been able to independently confirm that. That's just what my client's records show.
Okay.
And additionally, I apologize. I just received
No
this
problem.
representation very recently. That said, we would ask that the commission either rescinds or modifies the order to give my client more time. They would like to proceed with the foreclosure process. And instead of having the city use its resources to demo the building, build something else, to sell that property, contingent with the new owner putting the property back into an acceptable condition, making sure it's in compliance with any code violations, which, to be clear, my client is not representing that it's not in violation of any codes right now, just that they have not been able to contact the owner or owners in quite some time either. Alternatively, if the order were to be affirmed, we would ask for an extension to proceed with the foreclosure process 90 days from the date of the order entry, again, to sell this property through the foreclosure process and allow any new property owner to go through with repairing the property or reconstructing the property into an acceptable state to save both the city's resources as well as protecting my client's lien interests in the property.
Just for clarification, that the foreclosure, I thought you said earlier the foreclosure was taking place on the 2022?
The records I've been able to review show that my clients have been, at least internally, pursuing the foreclosure process since, I believe, May 2022. The last records I've been able to find, and I've not been able to speak with my client since I got the representation, again, very recently. The records show that they were planning to foreclose on August 2022 of this year, but I have no way of, I have not been able to independently confirm that that actually took place. As far as I know, that did not take place, but they are still planning to proceed with the foreclosure action. They just have not been able to do so yet.
So you're not aware of any errors to the property, or, I mean, as far as, so it's the property itself is in what, if it's in foreclosure, then you haven't, so all the paperwork has been filed, and it's usually a 2-year, year and a half, 2-year process. This is beyond 2 years, so I don't understand. I mean, they should have all their liens assessed and know who's involved in the purchase or the ownership of the property, correct? I mean,
My understanding is that that is correct. There were some complications with the COVID foreclosure process. You know, COVID threw a wrench into the foreclosure process. And additionally, my understanding is that there were some VA loan wrenches as well.
Okay.
And so they've been working through that process and making sure, of course, the property wasn't improperly foreclosed on too early. In addition, they've been attempting to contact the mortgagees to comply with the foreclosure process, but like I said, they have not been able to actually contact them. Again, we believe that Mr. Sparks is now deceased as of the end of last year, and we have not had any contact with Mrs. Sparks as well.
what about the neighbors and?
I know some neighbors had complained. That's how we got the initial complaint, plus the fire department had also gotten a hold of us. Honestly, I mean, with not knowing how much longer it's going to take, and then with the new owner, and, you know, how long it's going to take for them to start repairing this property, I personally
It's fire damage, right?
Yeah.
And that sounds like,
Structural.
would
that
like to go ahead and affirm the order in
sounds like these folks are trying to,
But it's
your
been
client's trying to
2 years.
maybe sell it to somebody, and then we kind of start
Back
over again, yeah.
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 And it's so close to the school. I mean, it literally is within less than a block probably in that food pantry.
So, and I just want to jump in here. Legally, this process is not going to stop any foreclosure process or any other kind of, like, in the event Mr. Sparks were alive and he wanted to just sell it, assuming he could sell it or quitclaim it, this process does not stop that. We have that recorded order on the books, so anybody who takes in the future is going to be subject to this order. It does put a bit of a delay on it. So really, it is up to you guys to decide, you know, what recommendation do you want to follow. You could modify the order to give it 90 days instead of 30 days. You could do it as is. Again, there is a 10-day appeal process if you want to appeal the actual passing of the order. But in this situation, moving forward doesn't really stop them from completing whatever processes they were, you know, they would go through. Or if an error popped up and was able to get it somehow sold within the next 30, 45 days. I mean, this doesn't stop any of those processes. It just simply puts our order on the books that, hey, we're going to tear this down if somebody doesn't step up to the plate and fix this property. And, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may. Again, my client is not of the position that there are no violations.
Right.
But-
And your client is not on the hook for violations necessarily. but
Sure.
We're just
But-
explaining how this, what happens to this piece of property.
Right, of
physically.
course, statutorily, any costs incurred by the municipality to demolish the building, rectify any code violations would take super priority over my client's, financial interest in the property. And so my client is just asking for greater time for this property to come into compliance, because that way, in the next 30 or 60 days, my client could dispose of this property, and it would still leave time for the new owner to actually rectify the situation.
Is your client planning on doing some things to rectify the violations?
No.
My understanding is that my client would like to find a new purchaser for the property,
They just
but
wanna
allow
sell
them
it.
enough time,
Allow-
allow the new purchaser enough time to comply with the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a new owner only had 7 days to demolish the building, that could be a logistical nightmare. So we're just asking for a greater time frame for those repairs to be completed. That way, a new owner may actually be interested in buying the property.
Sheriff's sale, at what point would it go through sheriff's sale, and how much of a mortgage is on the property? Is your client hoping to reincur?
My records show that my client has about a $50,000 interest in the property. Well, that's the principal amount remaining on the mortgage. There's about $2,000 in negative escrow and about $8,000 in interest that has not been paid. So altogether, around $60,000. And there's a chance my client is not able to recoup all of that. But to the extent that they could find a new buyer for, say, $30,000, that would help mitigate a lot of the losses which they may incur. I'm not sure I covered the whole question, so please feel free.
Are your client is wanting to repair the property in order to market it or to sell it?
No, they
want
just
to
want
sell
to,
it.
they just want to sell it
They
to
just wanna sell
somebody
it.
that will come in and fix it.
And they pay $30,000.
Yeah, they're just trying to, sound like they just want to sell it. And if they do sell it, they want to be able to tell the client that they have some time, they have this much time to fix it.
That is my understanding.
Yeah, or demolish it or whatever they want to do with it. Bring it into compliance.
Correct.
Yeah.
So as far as the foreclosure process, when will that be completed?
My understanding is that since it's vacant, it's not habitable, and the foreclosure process has already been started for quite some time, that the property could actually be sold within 30 to 45 days, maybe 60. And then, like I said, it would give the new owners about a month to comply with the applicable laws.
We can affirm the order and then it's going to be continuous, and then they can work with Sherry, and it's kind of Sherry's judgment at that point, right? For the safety.
You could do that. You could table it for 90 days. You could affirm it with he asked for a modification. You could modify it for 60 to 90 days. There are at least 3 different options. Again, you've got competing interests here, which is understandable. That's what you guys are here for, to kind of work through that.
I think specifically, if I could ask for the specific part of the order we would ask to be modified, is number 6, which begins, if the order is not complied with within 30 days of becoming final, to extend that to 90 days.
So is it going to be, how egregious is the safety issue that it's basically not going to get fixed for 90 days?
It's
Well, it
boarded
sounds
up,
like he's
but-
asking for 90 days plus the 30, which would be 120, and then you're also looking at it,
It's close to
the
school.
weather changing
Yeah.
and nothing being really done, excuse me, not a lot being done in the wintertime as far as construction goes. So you're probably looking at April.
Sorry, I don't believe I'm asking for the 90 plus the 30. Could you
Okay.
explain? I was asking to modify the 30, number 6, if the order is not complied with within 30 days of becoming final, which I believe would be today.
Okay.
To modify that to 90 days, period.
Period, okay.
But, and then, like you said, if the weather changes, that's all something that a future purchaser could take into account when they're assessing the risk of buying this property. Understanding, we have 90 days from the date of the order. If the weather's bad, things like that, that's on them. We're not, if it becomes 100 days from now, my client and any future interest holder would understand that, they're now in violation of the order, and applicable action may be taken.
90 days seems like an awful lot.
But the order will follow
The new owner.
a new owner if one is found.
Right.
Yes, we occasionally will send,
It can't sit there.
because like, we cannot stop somebody from selling a property.
Correct.
So we will occasionally even send courtesy letters to new owners, and we say, hey, you may have discovered this when you did a title search or when you were searching the records, but we're giving you a courtesy notice that you bought this property as is from the county or whoever. You are on the hook for this order because it has been recorded.
And how will we know if it's been sold?
We
Within-
periodically will check GIS, so.
That takes longer than,
I don't know if I don't know if
60 or
if
days.
it's something more that it affects what we do. I know we've ran into that in the past where things have been sold and then those folks didn't do due diligence. I don't know if that's our responsibility or not.
We had an emergency situation no, it wasn't an emergency situation, but we had gone through all of the steps. This was like 3 or 4 years ago.
I guess there is.
Somebody new had purchased it, and Derek had gone out there and said, no, we've got this order, and you didn't reply back, and you didn't say, hey, I'm going to do this. We're here to tear it down. We've already gone through these steps. And the police were brought in as assistants to help them get onto that property. And I think it was just a garage. I don't remember where it was, but I remember it was just a garage that was being torn down.
I mean, 90 days is going to put us into January, right? So,
And we have neighbors that are very concerned about the property and the,
Right, because
Yeah,
it's,
just-
because it's
I
being
just,
so
from
close to
my
the school.
aspect, I'm looking at the property values in that neighborhood and the amount of money they would have to, take to bring the property up to compliance, and it's going to be over the value of the homes in those neighborhoods. So, I don't think somebody could purchase that for $30,000. It's going to take more than 30 to put into it, so you've got a property at 60.
at least.
At least, maybe, probably more. So I don't feel that the value is there, I would,
our concern is whether this, I think we deal with the safety issue, and right now it's a safety problem, and giving it 90 days is not, I don't think, reasonable for the safety, because we're going to be into January when the weather is already bad.
Right.
So, 60's pushing it, I think, if we give them
and
that.
vagrancies and, yes, people, yeah.
If I may, 30,000 was just an example.
Yeah.
If my client could recover 5,000 or 10,000, that would still be a benefit to them.
Right.
And then
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
I may agree with you that it's not a property that I would want to invest in and build a new house on, but there may be a developer out there that would like to, buy a piece of property for $10,000, have to demo it, and all that, and then they could build a house that's 124 years newer than the old house on the property, which I would posit would raise the surrounding property values in the home.
Are we comfortable with maybe,
$1,000 for that property in that neighborhood.
are we comfortable with
They're not.
being lenient and maybe going 60 days?
Alternatively, the end of the year would kind of split that difference and say 75 days.
I mean,
What's the
It
number
does-
of
I mean-
reports you're receiving on it? Please.
To be honest, I haven't had a lot of complaints lately since it was boarded up. But I just don't agree with giving more than the 30 days.
30, okay,
Myself.
right. Usually when they're had a fire, they don't last too long. And then if it's close to a school, then you've got kids that it becomes a safety issue, they get in there, and then there's another fire. And sometimes that's why the fires start in the first place, because they're vacant. So that would be, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how the fire started, like I said, or
Yeah.
like I think Miss Ritchie had alluded to, the water may have been shut off towards the end of last year, the electricity may have been shut off towards the end of last year, and the insurance records that my client have show that the date of loss would have been after that happened. So perhaps, and especially if one of the owners died on that day, perhaps they were in there trying to repair the property, get things back going. But I don't think there's a risk of vagrancy things like that.
That's been our experience, that there is.
Okay.
Yeah, so, then you end up with
Yes.
another fire. We struggle with properties, they take the plywood off the windows to go use it for something, and then you're right back where you started.
Sure, and I know my client has been trying to
Right.
ensure the boards are properly installed, contacting contractors about replacing boards which may have been altered with.
Those
or-
look nice, yeah. Yeah, for
Well,
what it is.
Bill Henry had that taken care of, and we have the contractor cut to fit inside the windows, so it makes it harder for them to pull them out.
So did you guys fix that, or did they
Yes.
fix
No,
it?
Bill did.
The city did.
The city
We had a
fixed it. Okay, so you
contractor.
guys-
We had a contractor do it.
Okay, so you guys aren't, as far as we know, your client's not fixing it.
No, they have
Records
not.
I reviewed show that they were talking with contractors, but I did not have a lot of time to dig into or contact the client directly.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Inspector
Any other-
Henry had that done.
Okay.
And then any other speakers?
Yeah, oh, okay. Are there any other speakers on this property? Well,
Then I'll make a motion to adopt the statement as the enforcement authority as a finding of the commission based on the evidence and the testimony, and to affirm and submit the order, and the order become a continuous enforcement order.
Second.
second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
So, and I'll repeat what I said
Yes.
earlier, there is a 10-day appeal period of the order. Now, if by some miracle, somebody comes in and buys this and starts fixing it up or demolishing it, then again, the city would step back, but it gives a 30-day period, but it's up to 2 years is the continuous enforcement order.
Yeah,
So,
it's just a matter of communicating with Ms. Ritchie, with Inspector Ritchie.
Okay,
So if someone steps up to buy it, they need to contact her ASAP.
sure. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we're moving on to 810. Okay. The next property is 810 North H Street. It's a demo. Code Enforcement Inspector Ritchie.
Okay. Just waiting on my computer. Okay, this property is in poor condition. There are several missing and broken windows. The gutter's falling off the back of the house. The front door was unsecure when I went by last week. There was trash and tires in the backyard of the property. The property was built in 1920 per GIS. It's located within several blocks from the Townsend Center and local churches. It has signs of lead-based paint. There are currently $2,412.55 owed in property taxes. And it hadn't had water since April 10th of 2024 and electric since 4/16 of 2024. As you can see, there's some broken windows on the south side of the house. There were tires, and you could see where someone had used grocery carts. Usually that's signs of squatters. You can see on the east side of the house where there's open window right there. You can see where there's rotted wood and overgrown vegetation in this picture. And in the backyard, there's junk and debris by the shed. Then there's also more junk, tires, just debris. You can see the grass is pretty high and overgrown right there, and then you can see that the gutter's pulling away from the roof of the north side of the house. This is a Ballinger property. I'm asking that the board make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house and the shed located at 810 North H Street. But I also just found out that Mr. Bragg here would like to talk about this property. He actually bought it from, is it sheriff's sale?
Well,
Commissioner's
let's
sale?
wait till he comes up.
Okay.
Do we have anybody to speak on this property? Sir, come to the podium and state your name, please.
My name's Byron Bragg.
Byron Bragg?
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
But I purchased the property at the sale last year. It's one over at the county commission. I don't think it's the sheriff. It's
Okay.
the county
County
commission.
commissioners, okay.
And you can't take control of the property for a year. And my year will be Thursday. And they still haven't paid the money yet. So I don't, because I've talked to him before, because I got his number. He's just hard to get a hold of. Because I told him, I was like, well, look, they're going to try to tear it down. I'll try to buy you out of it now. And I got his number. He never answered the phone. He never texts back.
You're talking about the Ballingers?
Yeah, the Ballinger. I think it was Don, the one I met. And he never answered the phone. He never responded. This was like probably August. And like I said, now we're here in October. I think you said if you tear it down, I get my money back, which would be fine with me. But I'd like to have the house because I have the house next door that I'm starting to remodel.
Okay.
And how did you buy it again? From them or?
The county sale.
Okay.
I said it. The 17th is his last day to pay. If he don't pay by the 17th, then it'll come into my control.
Is that, you have the record of that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that is correct.
Okay. So the 17th of this month in 2 days?
It'll be this Thursday.
Okay.
The home you own next to it, is it occupied or rented?
No, it was on the thing, but
It's
me
also on
and
the
we've
list.
talked, but I've did.
Yeah, but
most-
he has done work to that since.
I've only got the biggest thing, getting the garage tore down, which I've already paid the deposit. And he said he pulled a permit last week, I think, or he's going to pull it. It's the Cox guy that you guys use. So the garage will be behind my house next door, be torn down soon.
He's wanting to buy the one next door to it also to fix up.
Is that the 814 or a different?
That's
Yeah.
the, yeah.
814 already owned that one.
814,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So he doesn't have possession of 810 yet.
Okay.
So I would like to affirm the order still, because I don't know if the Ballingers are going to pay that and keep it, or if he will be able to take over possession.
So there'll be a
not.
continuous enforcement order, so you can work with Mr. Bragg. then.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other people to speak on this property? You're welcome to come up, but you have to be sworn in,
You need
yeah.
to be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Lucinda Wright, District 2 City Councilwoman. And Mr. Bragg came to me, and I've seen the conditions of the houses that he has purchased. And I just want to say that the one house that he purchased that's on here.
814?
The changes.
14, yes.
Yeah, the changes that were made on there, just, I'm impressed. And with the housing shortage here in Richmond, instead of tearing buildings down, if there are people who are willing to purchase these homes and fix them up so that there can be affordable housing, decent housing, and where people are not underhoused, I think it's such a great thing for them to do. So with that being said, I am praying that you allow him to hold off on doing any demolition and let him get that house and do what he plans to do, because I think it will be a very nice home for someone. And I don't know, being a senior, I think, there's, I believe it is 7,200 underhoused seniors, people, and 5,500 of them happen to be senior citizens. So, like I said, what they're doing these individuals are doing who are not slumlords, who are actually fixing these houses up and making them habitable, I think it's a great thing. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would agree, we don't have enough people like yourself to do that. But being so close to the Townsend Center, you. That's actually Boys and Girls Club. Oh, Boys and Girls, it's Boys and Girls Club? Okay. Okay, it's close to the Boys and Girls Club.
So is 30 days, will 30 days be enough? What we generally, if we affirm the order, we give you 30 days, and it becomes a continuous order as long as you're making progress in the 30 days, because it's a safety issue at this point.
If I could get control, my first thing would be to secure the house.
Right. And we understand that,
I had the garage next door. There was a homeless woman. She kept getting in there. Like we'd lock the garage up. She'd be right back in it.
Are we talking about 810?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but that in that, I'm just saying in that general area, like.
Oh, yeah. I know, I actually caught a lady in
Yeah,
there
like, I
and
called
asked her to
down there, like, a
leave.
couple of times.
Yeah,
And
It was-
810,
One time I
810.
gave her money. I'm like, please just don't come back.
Right.
It's harder for me to pull
Right,
up here. I'm
right.
sorry.
Yeah.
Going
Right.
through this process.
Yeah.
yeah.
well, we understand that you have every intention of fixing that up if and when you get possession. But on the off chance that you don't get possession on the 17th, we'll need to affirm that. But as long as you're working with Sherry, if you get possession, you'll be fine.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
And you should be fine.
You should be fine. We
Because
just,
he did make 814 look
right,
better.
we know that you will do that. We just,
Right.
Just every indication.
We just don't know for
Yeah,
sure if they're
the
going to
neighbor that was
keep
calling
it.
complaining, I talked to her, because I just redid a house right behind hers. And she was like, as long as you're getting it, I'm not gonna complain no more, because I know you'll get it to where I won't have to deal with what I'm dealing with.
Okay.
Her name's Deborah B. And she lives in the yellow house on the other side. Me and
Okay.
her was talking, she was like, as long as if you get it, I'll stop calling and
Yeah,
complaining.
I don't know who called, I just
She
get
was
the
one-
emails
she
and,
told me, she said, "I'll
oh,
call and
okay.
complain."
Yeah.
She told me, she was like, I'm just tired of looking at it. She's like, if you
Gotcha.
get it, I'll stop my calls.
Gotcha.
And all that.
Okay.
Yeah. We have any other questions? Anybody else to speak on this property? I make a motion to adopt the statements of the enforcement authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order. It's for 30 days, right?
Yes.
Okay. For the order to become a continuous enforcement order, which means continue to work with Ms. Ritchie, for the property at 810 North H Street.
A second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
And there is a 10-day appeal period. Again, this is 10 days from today's date. If you want to appeal the passage of this ordinance, and I meant to actually say for you too, it's Indiana Code 36-7-9. So that is a 10-day appeal period in front of either the Wayne County Circuit or Superior Courts.
Okay, so the next property will be 814 North H Street.
Okay.
Inspector Ritchie? It's
Okay.
a demo?
814 North H Street. I'm just going to show you the pictures
Yeah.
from before, and then
Sure.
he can show you the after.
Okay.
I still would like to affirm the order just because the garage still needs some decent amount of work, but he said that Cox
How long have
Excavating
you
is
been
going
dealing
to.
with the property?
Probably since about maybe April, I would say.
I don't, because around April, that's what slowed me down, because I had to have a surgery. I had a spot on my kidney. And I couldn't do nothing for like 8 weeks. So that's like when you start, I just physically couldn't do anything.
It has fairly quickly within the last, I'd say, maybe 2 months, I saw windows being put in. Also, the front porch has completely been redone. You tore off the back
Yeah.
also. But I'll show you the pictures, and then he can show you what he has done. So originally, this property was in poor condition, had several missing and broken windows. The porch roof was in disrepair. The garage is still unsecured, I think. And there were tires in the yard. The back porch needed major repairs. I found a homeless person sleeping in the garage when I was with Inspector Cedric James. The garage has missing siding. The property was built in 1920. It's located, I know you said the Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and
Is it the Boys and Girls Club now? Is
on
that what
12th
it's
Street,
called?
that's the boys.
Okay, well,
okay.
I say the Townsend Center. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
I heard Townsend Center, okay.
Okay,
Richmond.
that's why I said town center. Okay, it has signs, did have signs of some mold and asbestos just from the outside. You could see from what the paint looks like, how it's like scaly. There were $250 owed in property taxes, and it hadn't had water since May 9th of 2017, or electric since May 24th of '24. So here were some of the before pictures, as you could see, the missing windows, and the second picture, the porch roof right there, and the ceiling from the porch roof. He has replaced all of that at this time and replaced all the windows. But it was in poor shape. You can see here on the north side of the house, some of the missing soffit, and again, the broken windows here that he's had since replaced. But the garage still needs taking care of. And you can kind of see right here on the corner, that's the back part of the house. And he has had that completely torn off, I believe,
Yeah.
right? Because I drive by every day on my way home. So I see that one and the next one. And you can see this, shed had some tires in it, and anybody could get in there also. This middle picture, you can see the missing siding and the door being down on the ground. That is the garage. And this picture right here, you could see how poorly the back porch looked, but he has since had that taken off. So I would just ask, because, this property still has issues with the garage, that we go ahead and affirm the order. And then once he finishes making the repairs, I will, work with him when he gets that demolished and finishes up with a few other things that, we can get this one closed out.
And what's your recommendations?
I would just ask that the commission to go ahead and still affirm the order.
30 days and
30
continuous?
days, yeah, and then I can work with him and see when Mr. Cox is going to tear down the garage, and just keep in contact with me on that.
Did you
So
since
the
we're on
garage-
new property, I'm sorry. go ahead.
The garage is owned by someone else?
No, it just is in disrepair, and he's gonna have it torn
okay.
down.
It's getting
Yeah,
demolished.
Kelly Cox is gonna tear it down for him.
Now we're
Oh,
dealing
okay,
with,
gotcha, okay, gotcha.
now we're dealing with the property at 814 North H. Could you restate your name for the record, please?
Byron Bragg.
Thank you.
You want to give them the pictures to see?
Well, they already seen those, so.
So here are the new pictures.
Thank you.
Made a lot of improvements to the property.
I don't need to see them, no, thank you. They'll be in the file though, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'll get copies from. Or I will also take pictures of the property before I close it out.
Yeah, and those are put in BSNA.
Correct. I do believe Mr. Bragg will finish with that, and he has made leaps and bounds with this property in the past couple of months.
Thank you. Was this also a Ballinger property?
No,
I actually own that one.
he owns that one, but
Okay.
it's next door to that Ballinger
Okay,
property.
gotcha.
What she had before.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Hey, would you like to make it?
Make a motion to adopt the statements of the enforcement authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order and for the order to become a continuous enforcement order.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried.
So again, that is a 10-day appeal period if you want to appeal the actual order. But otherwise, it is setting it up for a 30-day, and then it's going onward because it's a continuous enforcement order, so they continue to monitor the property for up to 2 years.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for taking on those properties.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
You, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Just keep in touch, and then we'll see Thursday if you get that 810. And if so, then I just need another plan of action, letting me know what you're going to start on first and when you're going to get that done per month or whatever, okay? All right, thank you so much.
Okay, the next property, we're going to start back at the top of the list.
Okay.
Okay, so the next property is at 221 Northwest E Street. It's a demo. Code Enforcement Inspector Ritchie?
Okay, this property is owned by a Jason Estep, who has passed away. He's no longer with us. As you can see in the picture to the left, there are missing windows and construction blocks down at the bottom of the property, in the front yard on the north side. Over to the far right, you can see that there's debris on the front porch. The front door is in poor condition. There's some missing windows right here. On the east side of the property, there's peeling paint, missing windows, soffit damage, signs of neglect. You can see more missing fascia in this middle picture. And then in the backyard, you can see one of the sheds or garages that has junk and debris and also peeling paint, and a door that is open and unsecure where anybody could get in and could possibly get hurt or try to, to live there. This picture right here to the left has actual plastic up on the roof. Here in the backyard, you can also see tree limbs and brush, and then also missing and broken windows in this picture right here. Again, in the backyard, there's a bunch of trash and debris. You can see there's holes in the roof and missing shingles here in this picture. Again, this is part of the garage in the backyard, and you can see all of the mold. And then in this picture, you can see all the holes, and that is about to collapse at any time. This property is in very poor condition. There are foundation issues. Like I said, the roof has tarp most of the back part of the roof. There are several missing windows throughout the home. The property was built in 1900 per GIS. It's located within several blocks from a public park and a community food bank. It has signs of lead-based paint and mold. I visibly saw asbestos flooring with Building Commissioner Aaron Jordan. There's $728.09 owed in property taxes. This property hasn't had water since 12/31 of 2013. So over a decade. Same with the electric. There have been 6 violations since 2021. And like I said, the property owner is deceased. I had gotten a call from the mother. So we respectfully ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house and garage structures located at 221 Northwest E Street.
Do we have anybody here to speak on the property at 221 Northwest E Street?
If not, then I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt the statement of the enforcement authorities as finding of the commissions based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm and submit the order, and for the order to become continuous enforcement order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. The next property is 103 North 17th Street. It's a demo. Code Enforcement Inspector Ritchie.
Okay, I actually have had several complaints about this property. The police are here all the time, and I also had Sarah Mitchell from the Economic Development Commission ask me about this property as well. So the owner is Lloyd Waugh. I believe he lives in Portland, Oregon. I have spoken with him about this property, but the only thing he's had done is had the grass cut. This property has some structural damage and is a nuisance to the neighborhood. It's right behind Wendy's and the Milk House. There's a lot of traffic up and down those alleys. The property was boarded up by Inspector Henry on June 24th of 2024, and no progress has been made to do anything with that property since then. Like I said, where it was located, it's also not too far from that East Sidelines Public Park and the Star School. It has had 9 enforcement violations written up on it in the past 2 years. There are signs of lead-based paint and mold and asbestos at this property. The house constantly or consistently has trash and debris along the side of the house closest to the alley, and there is a lot of homeless people that walk through that area all the time. It was built in 1900, and I don't know if I said that it has $820.35 due in property taxes. So you can see there's some missing windows in this picture up here and right there. Inspector Henry did have it boarded up, so when he had the contractor paint it, the color of the house so it doesn't look so bad. But still, all these missing windows. You can see in this picture to the right, there's a hole in the ceiling on the porch roof. It's been like that for several years. Like I said, over here on the side, there's a broken retaining wall, but there's a lot of just bits and pieces of trash from people that go up and down that alley. And over here in the middle picture on the south side, you can see all of this overgrown vegetation just growing on the house because of neglect and nobody taking care of this property. And again, this overgrown vegetation that has since been cut, but nothing else has been done to this property. And you can see in this picture, there's damage to the garage roof. The middle picture, there's holes in it. The last picture here, you can see where it has peeling paint, and the door, the bottom part, the door is just pieced together. And here in the backyard was the overgrown vegetation, trash and debris. Also, you can see, vegetation was growing up on the side of the garage. And then here in the back of the house part, you can see that there's missing windows right here. There's also the siding is damaged, and you can see where it's kind of pulling away from the back part of the house right here. And then, of course, the overgrown vegetation. And then you can see that there's gaps in the garage on the north side of the garage, and then also missing siding right here down by the foundation on the south side of the property. I respectfully ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house and the garages, because it's along like 2 garages together. And then there's also a tree in the front that needs trimmed, and to remove all overgrown vegetation if it gets high again, located at 103 North 17th Street.
We have anybody here to speak on the property at 103 North 17th Street? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to adopt the statements of the Enforcement Authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order and for the order to become a continuous order.
A second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. The next property is at 1024 Sheridan Street. It's a demo. Code Enforcement Inspector Ritchie.
Waiting for it to load. Okay. Okay, the owner of this property is a Larry Jean Reed and a Deborah Jane Reed. This property is very close to Fairview School. This property has been in bad shape for some time. It's in poor condition and has signs of structural damage. There are holes in the foundation, falling soffit. The fencing and the porch roof could collapse at any time. This property was built in 1920 per GIS. Like I had said before, this property is located within close proximity of Fairview School, Bossell Park, and the food pantry, and also a church. It has signs of lead-based paint and mold. There's $534.62 owed in property taxes, and there have been 16 violations on this property since 2019. So you can see here in the picture to the left where this piece of 2x4 is holding up the porch, and there's missing windows. The posts here at the bottom are rotting. This middle picture, you can see there's damage to the fascia right here. And then this window is broken up here. And there's a hole, if you can see through the branches right there. There's a big hole in the porch roof there. You can see that there's holes in the foundation right here on this property. There's a bunch of overgrown vegetation on the north side of the property that's growing up on the side of the house, where you can see that's neglected and that no one is taking care of this property. Again, here's a better image showing the 2x4 holding up the porch right there. And then in the front yard, you can see where the fencing is down, and the grass has gotten high enough to where it's starting to lay over because no one had been cutting the grass. So I respectfully ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house and fencing located at 1024 Sheridan Street, Richmond, Indiana.
Do we have anybody here to speak on the property at 1024 Sheridan Street? I make a motion to adopt the statements of the enforcement authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order and for the order to become a continuous enforcement order for the property at 1024 Sheridan Street.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. The next property is at 1714 Northeast Street. It is a demo. Code Enforcement Inspector Ritchie.
Okay. Let me get these pictures to come up. Maybe. Okay, I've been dealing with this property since 2022, and it's 2 years later. This is a Ballinger property. This property has caught on fire, as you can see, right up there. There's also missing windows here on the north side of the house. And you can see a closer look at the fire damage. This was from May. You can see here where it's missing siding on the west side of the house. Again, some fire damage here, and you can see where it's kind of melted. And then the missing windows, and there's overgrown vegetation or grass right there on the side. You can see where the meter has been pulled and the wires have been cut. Again, more signs and showing of the fire damage to the house where the siding has melted. And now you have damage to the soffit and the fascia. And missing door and windows, and overgrown vegetation here, also on the west side of the house. And I actually had gotten several complaints about people breaking into this door originally, and squatters going in there. And they ended up breaking several more windows on the other side of the house. Here's a picture from the front of the house. You can see the missing windows here, and again, the overgrown vegetation. I have several cut orders on this property where the city's had to pay to have the grass cut because the Ballingers won't take care of this property. This is the actual front porch where you can see where the ceiling is going to start to come down, and you can see a missing window right there as well. You can see these were the windows that had been broken by someone who had broken into the house. I'm not sure about the top one here, but this one, these two, and these back here had all been torn up and broken by someone. And then you can see again all the overgrown vegetation in the yard that needs cut. In this picture, you can see that there's siding from the soffit that needs repaired, that's about to fall. Again, the grass that, is in between the curb and sidewalk that needs cut. This is also within just a few blocks from Star School. A lot of kids walk down this street to go to school every day. And you can see right here that there's holes in the foundation area of this house. This property has not been taken care of for years. It's been vacant for at least 2 years that I'm aware of. And I want to say, let's see. If I can see when it says the last time it had water. It hasn't had water or electric, hasn't had water since October 20th of 2020, or water since October 20th of 2020, or electric since 7/13 of 2020. So definitely over 4 years that there's been, no water or electric at this property. So I would ask the commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demo this house and to get rid of any overgrown vegetation that might still be there.
Do we have anybody here to speak on the property at 1714 North E Street? Do I have a motion?
Yeah, not hearing any, I'll make a motion to adopt a statement of enforcement authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm and submit order, and the order become a continuance enforcement order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. The next property is at 1226 Butler Street. It is a demo. Code Enforcement Inspector Ritchie?
Okay. Okay, 1226 Butler Street. This also is a property that has been vacant for several years. I think every inspector has been to this property at one point. This is just right off the corner of Butler Street and very close to Fairview School. As you can see in this picture, there are some inoperable vehicles that have been there for several years. There's trash and debris on the porch. This is just a closer look at the vehicles that have been sitting in the yard. You can see that there's a old couch that's been on the porch for years, and then trash and debris. Over in the back or side yard, you can see there's an old hot tub right here that's been sitting there. And then also a big tire. This picture you can see on the garage where it's bowing out some, and that the siding is coming off of the garage. Here you can see kind of where the porch is leaning a little bit. And again, there's more trash and debris on the right side of the property. And you can see here where the grass needs cut. In this picture here, you can see there's some broken windows on the east side of the property. And in the back by the garage, you can see there's junk and debris right here, missing windows to the garage. Also damage to the roof of the garage, and the back door, there is none. So anybody could go in there and squat, live, or, maybe get hurt. And that's just showing the trash. This is a better picture. This is a better picture of the beautiful hot tub that we have back there. And then you can see that there's some missing siding here, and the windows open right there. And again, the overgrown vegetation. And then also you can see that the roof to the house is in bad shape. and could be replaced. And then also these missing and open windows as well throughout. So I asked the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demo the house and garage and to get rid of all the debris in the yard.
Do we have anybody to speak on the property at 1226 Butler Street? We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the statements of the enforcement authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order and for the order to become a continuous enforcement order.
I second.
I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. The next property is at 1021 Butler Street. It's a demo. Code Enforcement Inspector Ritchie.
Okay, 1021 Butler Street is owned by Willie Mae Johnson. This property also is in very poor condition. As you can see here, I said you can see all the way through the roof in the front of this porch. There's several missing and broken windows. The porch to the front and the north side of the house could collapse at any time. The property was built in 1910 per GIS. It's located within several blocks of the Fairview School, the West Side Lions Park, a couple of churches, and the food pantry or that gateway. The property has signs of lead-based paint and mold. There's $743.40 owed in property taxes. And there hasn't been water since January 4th of 2023 or electric since 12/27 of 2022. You can see here where there's holes in the porch roof that's falling. Same thing on the north side of the property right here of the porch. You can see where it's missing pieces of wood. And there's also mold growing here and here. There's broken windows here on the side of the house and peeling paint. In the back, you can also see that the roof sheeting is exposed. And again, missing window here. There's trash and debris in the backyard. There's tree limbs and brush also in the back. Again, more broken windows. Here's a better view of the hole in the porch roof on the west side of the property, and where you can see these rafters, again, on the north side of the property that are exposed. So I respectfully ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house and remove all the brush and wood piles located at 1021 Butler Street, Richmond, Indiana.
Do we have anybody here to speak on the property at 1021 Butler Street? I make a motion to adopt the statements of the enforcement authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order and for the order to become a continuous enforcement order for the property at 1021 Butler Street.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. And the last property we have is at 1505 North J Street. It is a demolition.
My computer, it's been so long that we've been doing this, my computer died.
Yeah.
And I had it fully charged, so
Code Enforcement Inspector Ritchie?
you're gonna have to give me a minute. I'm gonna have to plug this in somewhere.
Oh,
Want to take a recess or just wait?
How long is it gonna take?
I'm just gonna have to grab
Is it- You guys need to go?
something to plug it in.
There's no-
Yeah, and I guess I'll have to do
Okay.
it from there.
Have anything coming up? Anything else after this?
So, other than the two that were tabled, the other two inspectors are aware that I am behind on several unsafe building matters as far as going through some cost hearings and cost recoveries. I did try to put them in somewhat of an order of receipt, which I know you guys don't want to see this. I don't even want to look at it. But before, we had an assistant who had gotten another job, and we are in the process of trying to get a new assistant. I do have a paralegal, but I have not trained her on these processes. So I do have several that are in order of receipt that I got them. So I'm hoping within the next 2 to 3 months, you'll start seeing me go back to the cost hearings for Inspector Henry and Inspector James, while we will be continuing to do the grant properties for Inspector Ritchie. So yes,
Does that mean your huge folder you usually have is too big to bring?
I had to
Or it's-
archive that folder.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I'm starting, probably my 5th one now. So, yeah, it's been and you guys know it's been a transition because of the election last year. And so it's just every time that happens, and I'm not trying to say anything weird about it, but just every time that kind of a transition happens, it takes getting used to new people, getting them caught up on some of the internal procedures, getting them caught up on the due process of this particular hearing. And most of you know this is one of several boards that both AJ and I cover. So, he has a council and redevelopment and RP&L, and one of my other due process heavy boards is like the Board of Zoning Appeals, but it's the same thing where it's a quasi judicial board. So that's why we very much appreciate you guys being here and being patient with the administrative staff, because, and then as you know, Derek had retired, so it's just kind of making.
It's still Vaughn's old computer and sign in on it. See,
Oh, Vaughn's gone too.
yeah, Vaughn's gone, so I'll just,
And lost a part-time inspector.
yeah.
Oh,
So we'll just do that.
Mr. Van Meter?
And
Vaughn
hopefully I
Meter.
can sign in,
Oh.
yes, on
You know,
his.
So you find something better, I hope?
It's a full-time job.
Yeah, at Silgan.
First shift,
Good.
so it didn't work out.
That's good for him.
Okay, let's see if we can do it this way.
Will they be hiring somebody else, or?
Not to our knowledge.
No. Okay.
Maybe.
With it being winter, and I was telling Sienna before the meeting, I haven't received any emergencies from the guys since July. We're gonna go back and check our files and make sure we haven't missed any. But with it coming into winter, I'm hoping that we could focus on the cost hearings that I am behind on, so that we can get caught up. And if we don't have a meeting in December, I don't think any of you will be upset about that
No,
at all.
not at all.
So if we could get these two tables set aside, or not set aside, but done in November, and then maybe have a month off, and then see if we can hit the ground running back in January, so.
Do we have to have elections in January? Do we need to do, I think sometimes we've skipped that.
I don't know that we ever have, so,
Okay, we did at one point, but I've been here forever.
I don't know whose
But-
idea that was, though, it wasn't my idea.
Okay,
So if you want to hold
There's
elections,
only 3 of us. I don't really think.
okay, I didn't know if it was something that was supposed to be done.
if you want us to add it to the January as a housekeeping matter, we can.
No, we're happy with Dwayne
No,
keeping the lead.
Good.
But it gets brought up every once in a while, and then I'm like, wait a minute, we forgot it. So if it's not,
I'm not stating for the record,
computer,
but I didn't bring it up whenever it
keyboard
happened
work into
last
this
time,
one.
so.
okay.
The one on the other side?
I think they're happy with having you as
We're
president.
fine.
Okay.
The Pete. His,
So
his,
we,
his keyboard's dead.
oh,
Can you put your keyboard on the thing?
Tried that, no.
What about the plug-in thing?
Well, I can maybe log in from this.
Yeah.
that's how Bill, is it the same like Bill does?
So, yeah. Almost done. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, you caught me yawning. Sorry.
Sherry, you can try it.
Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. Bill does it.
I've
Oh,
just
this is
started
the-
using
okay.
that.
This is.
I don't know anything about that computer.
We need to table this for,
Can you just explain it? Is there another meeting starting in here at noon? There usually is, people waiting.
Well, redevelopment was canceled. It was
Okay.
scheduled for 1:30, I believe. I'm not aware of a noon meeting.
Okay.
Media
I know
shaking
we've
his
had-
head.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
His name's not Media, but
Let's go get
I
IT.
forgot his name again. You guys have any procedural questions in the meantime?
I like the,
Did you have something you needed to talk to?
you're just observing, I'm guessing.
I think he wants to talk to Kim.
Inspector Ritchie?
I like that we kind of prioritize them, because I kind of think it's nice to let the people that
Yeah.
are here.
I
I didn't
mean,
know
the
if that was an
agenda-
option or not.
Yeah, the agenda is just a tool, so if you need to move things around, it's,
And I think too, from now on, if we know ahead of, or if I know
Yeah.
ahead of time that there's gonna be someone speaking on a property, I'll try to put that one in
Yeah,
an
well,
order.
we can,
You can always ask.
we can say something starting out and kind of vet it as well. Because you never know, I'm guessing, who's going to show up.
Yeah, I have
That's
very, very few and far between do I have a heads up.
Sienna, you might even want to start doing a sign-in sheet, because I know 2 months ago, we had an issue where we were trying to figure out the name of a guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I ended up finding him on the Secretary of State website. We couldn't figure out this guy's name for anything.
Yeah, I got the first name, but I could not figure out.
Yeah, so I had to look him up on the Secretary of State website, and I was like, that is not what, doesn't sound like what he said it was, but.
Yeah, I listened to the minutes back, and I'm like, I don't understand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can,
I can do that.
if we need to, yeah, sign people in or,
Something up when I get back.
Yeah,
I will be out of office tomorrow, just FYI.
okay.
This one right here.
Tracy, do you want to be sworn in?
Sworn in, sworn out.
probably have plenty of that
Oh,
being
yeah.
IT, I bet.
He has to be right back.
Yeah, that computer won't let her log in.
Can she just tell us about it? Do we have to see the pictures?
You don't have to see the pictures.
I mean, I think we can
Verbal
understand.
testimony.
She can just verbally tell us the structural part of it, because that's really what we're concerned about, the
And
structure.
then she can send you the emails,
Yeah.
email you guys the pictures later.
Right. I mean, we've never questioned.
Sherry, they want to move
Work.
forward with your verbal testimony anyway.
Okay. So,
Unless it's on there and you can't get it either. Your notes.
She's going to try to let me log in to that so that all my stuff comes up.
Can you get the file, the physical
Sure,
file, and then
absolutely,
pass out
absolutely.
pictures?
Sure, we can try that.
I need all the files anyway, so.
Massively thick.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah,
I've
that
got-
was, that was the one that had like 20 plus.
Oh, my.
A lot of the mail came back, and we had to re-mail out the order a couple times, so, yeah, it's double rubber banded.
Is that a, what property was that?
15 to
The one we're doing.
Waiting on.
Okay, so it's not a Ballinger.
I don't think so, no. Mm-mm.
Thank you all. Several times.
I can show you pictures of my grandson from my vacation last month.
I was actually,
They're football and soccer.
actually gonna ask you, is that binder all the stuff that,
This is all stuff that I've received. It's got all the documentation about,
Unsafe Building?
it's everything you gave me. And I have read most of it. It's chapter 6 on ethics, Richmond Safety and Building Commission rules and procedures.
I remember,
Let's try this one more time because Cedric is not here now, so I saw his computer. And let's see if we can get his to work.
Borrowed it.
I borrowed it.
I remember
You know what I mean?
feeling guilty about
I hope
the amount of stuff
I have
that
the right
sent her when
keyboard
she
to the
first
right,
started.
to the right monitor, whatever, laptop. Okay, let's try this. Because Cedric's very territorial
We
about
look
his
like
stuff.
we have a lot for November.
November should just be the 2 that we're tabling, or the 3 that we're,
Two. No,
2.
two.
Right?
Two of them.
Okay, let's try this.
This is a good example of,
Adapt and overcome?
That too.
Okay. Never had this many before, though. This thing literally was on the
this
charges.
back, but double-sided.
Time. We cannot sign you in with this credentials because your domain isn't available. Okay, then that's it. I'm trying it
We're
all.
looking at the
So
pictures
they've got
right
the
now.
pic-
So
They've got the
okay.
pictures.
Tell us.
And have fun.
So as you can see here, all the mail that we've sent that has come back, that we have sent certified.
And regular.
Regular mail.
Oh, over how many years is that?
This is just
Several?
this year.
Just this
No
year.
This
kidding.
year.
That's just for the
Because it's
order.
all because it's all the interested parties.
Okay, there's quite a few interested
Yes, quite a
parties.
few interested parties. As you can see right here from the order,
Mm-hmm,
you have all of these
okay.
interested parties. All of
Thank you.
these
interested parties.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so there's 2 pages worth of interested parties.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have any of them contacted you?
No, no one has. This property is on North J Street.
Make sure you're getting recorded.
Oh, sorry. This property is on North J Street. This house, I don't believe, has had any electric or water also since 2004.
Oh, my.
So over 20 years.
Well, the collapse of the roof alone is
Yeah.
enough to,
I was going to say, well, I was looking at the
wanna
front too.
enforce that.
But this property is in disrepair. It has been neglected for 2 decades, I would say, at least. And it's close to the Townsend Center, all of the,
Townsend Center, but,
well, the Boys and Girls Club now. To me, it's a Townsend Center.
and the doctor's offices.
And the doctor's office, yeah. And then also, you know, all the housing units that are over there, which a lot of children are living in. So this property has missing windows. You can see the interior from the pictures that you had, that the ceiling had caved in. And you can see that there is, the shingles are actually crumbled. I mean, they're really, shingles aren't even there at this point. And there's holes throughout the house, and then also the roof has collapsed. And then on the south side of the building, you can see where it's missing parts of the roof, where you can actually see the gables, as Bill calls them, or I say that the roof and the 2x4s on the south side of the building. This property is in poor structural condition and definitely needs to be removed. So I would ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house and garage to this property.
Thank you. Do we have anybody here to speak on the property at 1505 North J Street?
I'll make a motion to adopt the statements of the Enforcement Authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order and for the order to become a continuous enforcement order.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carried. Unless anybody objects, I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you, everybody, for your patience and all the hard work.
Thank you.
You are watching Whitewater Government Television, WGTV, Channel 11, part of the Whitewater